Okay, so The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Man, is this good. I did a reaction video to it, so feel free to check that out if you haven't seen that already. But let's just get into the things I like about it. So there's 15 things I like about this film. So first and foremost, let's get into the amazing visuals this film has specifically. Camera composition. The movie's really well shot. I think pretty much every shot seems really well framed and very intentional to like how it's shot, the way it tells a story. It's excellent in that regard. Next thing, along with the camera composition, the camera movements, the way it moves around in the scene, and you know follows the characters around and really enhances the story. And then along with that, the zoom ins and zoom outs. This is something you barely see with new movies, and this is a movie that came out in 2019, and some of these shots feel like it's from like an older movie back in like the 80s or 90s. Just the way it's shot, but it's so awesome. It reminds me of like a Stanley Kubrick film in a sense. Just the zoom outs particularly, and then also another great thing they do in this film is tracking shots. They do a lot of shots when the characters are like going around on a skateboard and the camera tracks him as he goes along. It's so awesome. I really love these like tracking shots they do. It really just puts you in this setting and really immerses you in it. And those zoom out shots are just really just magical. Along with the magic of that is another thing I'll say that's magical in a second in this film. But anyway, just a really beautiful looking film in that regard. And two other things, so this is 5 and 6, the lighting and color palette. Whoo, like just so vibrant. And it also has a certain richness to it, like you can feel the details in the film. I think because of that and because of these other elements I've already mentioned. It's just a beautiful looking film in all these aspects. Like it's just so well executed. I was blown away by the visuals in this film. And there's one shot too that's just nuts, where like the camera is kind of like imitating a ball falling down and hits this kid in the head, and the camera like actually falls and goes like that. It's awesome top as well. Whoa, what is this shot? Jesus. Cool camera movement. I loved that little moment. I thought that was like, whoa, that just surprised me. That was so cool and just well done. Alright, so the next thing, the acting. The acting in this movie is really top notch, especially from the two main actors. Like I've never seen them in anything else. There's a few other actors I've seen in this, but those two, I've never seen them in anything before, and they did a top notch job. I'm really looking forward to seeing them in more films, honestly. They were just really good. And because of that, this is the next thing, the chemistry and the performances. Those two work so well together as actors. Like, there's never a moment where I was like, oh, they don't seem to be working well. No, they were top notch. They were at their A game, and they just felt like they genuinely felt like they were friends, in real life. I wouldn't be surprised if in real life they've built a friendship from this, because they were so believable. They were so great. I really loved the chemistry they had. Alright, the next thing, the music. So this is the thing I was saying that's magical. The music in this is so good. It's got a certain like synth to it at times, and somewhat nice vocals. It's a beautiful soundtrack. I noticed one particular song in the credits that I really liked, but then when I really thought about it, as I was editing through my reaction video, I was like, wow, the soundtrack is good in this. It's yeah, I feel like some people could somewhat overlook it, but when you really think about it, the music is incredible in this. Alright, did I miss something? Oh, I thought I did add that. There was one other extra thing I wanted to say about the visuals. Use of slow-mo. I really liked the use of slow-mo in this. It's impressive. I really liked how they did it. It wasn't overdone. It really enhanced the setting. And it wasn't... There was parts where it was slow motion, but you could almost not notice it. It was like a cinematic slow motion. It wasn't, too much slow motion where it was like, oh my god, we get it. But there was some moments of that where it was like very slowed down, but I felt like it enhanced the setting, and that's what I really liked about it. So I thought the slow motion was done very well in this film. Alright, so the next thing, where am I now? Number 10, story. It will probably be more like number 11, because I gotta add slow-mo in the things I've added. Anyway, so yeah, the next thing is the story. Just the way this movie takes its time, and that's another thing I'll somewhat mention in a second. But it really takes its time, but I really just enjoyed it. I was just really enjoying the ride that you're taking on in this film, and like you really connect with the characters in that regard. you get really connected to this setting they create. And it's, yeah, I really love just the way the story was kind of developed around those things. Yeah, really, really unique, I feel like this film was. Like, there's no other film I can really compare this to in regards to how the story's told, but it's really well done, nonetheless. Next thing is emotional impact. So this is one of those things, at the end of my reaction video, I was just not sure how I felt about the ending. But it was one of those things where it did hit me emotionally, and I really did feel for the characters, and I thought that was really well done. So yeah, I really liked the emotional impact this movie gave. The next thing, this is kind of what I already mentioned, but in regards to the story, the build-up. The build-up, this movie takes its time. And then when things do get bad, oh boy, it really does hit you then, because it's taken its time, and you've really grown to like these characters and grown to like the situation they're in. And then when something goes wrong, it's like, oh man, you know, you really feel it. Alright, so the next thing is the themes. So that's the themes of, they talk about a certain part in the film. I don't want to give away too much, but this certain thing happens to a character, and he never really reached his potential. And this is a fact for a lot of people in life. They kind of go through life, and they kind of set up certain barriers for themselves, and they never really push past that. They kind of create these certain limitations because of something that perhaps happened in the past. Ah, don't you love it when your SD card gets full? Ah, yeah, it's from my recent reaction video. I forgot to transfer it off, so hey, it's my bad, right? Damn. Anyway, what was I saying? Themes. So yeah, people create limitations because of, you know, the environment they're in, and because of their past and things like that. And this is a thing the movie highlights, and I think that's very true. So yeah, I really like that theme and how they express that in the film. You know, I don't want to say anything else about that scene, but I feel like if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like when the character says they put him in a box. You know what I'm talking about. I hope so, anyway. But yeah, I really love that scene and what it expressed in that moment. So yeah, great moment and great scene. So number 15 is the setting. So, you know, the setting, the way it's filmed, and the way the story is told within this setting. Yeah, just, I've kind of mentioned it already, but the setting is really great in this film, and that's something that I felt really stood out to me. It felt very, you know, lived in. It felt very active. You know, I really loved the setting they created in this film. And lastly, this was something that, you know, I didn't really like at first. Maybe not like, but I wasn't sure what to think about it. But as over time, as I was editing the video and just pondering about this film, I would say I like the ending now. I very much like the ending. It's it gets you thinking, and I feel like on a character level it works very well. And yeah, I very much like the ending. I was gonna give a point kind of to rewatchability, but I'll see. I reckon second viewing I'll be better to determine that. But I definitely will watch this movie again, that's for sure. So yeah, that's the 16 things I liked about The Last Black Man in San Francisco. Man, this is so worth a watch. That's better. I just realised the window was open, so you just heard a big truck going. So what were the things you liked about The Last Black Man in San Francisco? Or maybe some negatives, you know, maybe something you didn't like, or something you weren't sure about, or maybe even a question, you know, you have about the film. Just, you know, put your thoughts down in the comments below. And yeah, I'll catch you next time.